Hello guys, welcome to Design and Grow Rich, brought to you by Cflix Images. My name is Shadrach, and today I'll be taking you on how to design a simple album art cover. Alright, so first of all, I'm going to be showing you what we will be creating in this training. So let's do this. Are you ready? It's an album cover for, I believe, a music artist, and I decided to use my picture for this. All right, so let me run you through how we did this. First step is to open your Photoshop dimension, and for this training we'll be using the 800 by 800 dimension. Okay, now don't forget that if you're using a Windows system, to create a new dimension it's Control N. For Mac, you'll be using, I believe, Command N. So let's do Control N to create our dimension. All right, we're using 800 by 800. So this is 800 by 800. All right. Now, if you come to your color mode, you will see that what we have here is RGB color. Now, for print, usually we change it to CMYK. All right. But for the purpose of this training, we'll leave it at RGB color. Okay. So let's leave it just where it is, RGB color. All right. But for print, you use CMYK. Now we'll have 800 by 800, and I'll just leave my resolution at 72 instead of 300. All right. So this is what we have. Yes. So here we are. We have our dimension 800 by 800 for this training. Now don't forget, we are designing an album art cover, a simple and very beautiful one. Now we've gotten that step right. Now that takes us to step 2. Usually when you're designing an artwork, you need to have the image of the artist or the model, that you're designing for. So in that case, I decided to use my own picture. Let's bring in the image that we're using for this design. Okay, so I believe you go to File. File is at the top left side of the system. Click on File and scroll down to Place Embedded, and that will take us to where we're getting our image from. Now this image is on my hard drive, so this is the image, this is the particular file we're using. I'll click on it and then you click on Place. What that does is that it brings the image directly onto your document. Okay, now you can see that the image is not filling up the document, so we'll have to expand it. We'll have to scale it up to make sure that it fills the whole place. And so to do that, I'll just hold Alt and then I'll expand my image. Okay, do it gradually. You want to make sure that you do it gradually so that your image does not pixelate, because when your image is overexpanded, it gets to pixelate, and what that means is that it becomes blurry. Okay, we want to make sure that the image is crispy and sharp. All right, beautiful. So now that we have our image on our document or canvas, I believe, what we're going to do is, that brings us to step 3 really. We want to make sure that the image is good enough, it's clean. So just look through your image and make sure that the face of the model or the artist is not having it's not too rough. Like, you need to take off dark spots or pimples and all that. So in order to achieve that, click on your image, and then first off, I want to rasterize this image because that's the only way you can edit it. All right, so let's rasterize this image, rasterize layer rather. Okay, so the image is rasterized now. Now let's go to let's just take off some spots from the image. Usually there is a training, there will be a complete training on how to treat an image. Okay, that's a training for another day, because there's more to it. Okay, there's more to image treatment and all that. So, but this is just a simple one that we're doing for the sake of this design. So let's go to our tool. When you come to the tool, the layer that has the tools here, we're using the spot healing brush tool. Okay, so scroll down to your brush tool and then click on the spot healing brush tool. Okay, so we have the spot healing brush tool. I will just expand my image and select a few part of the face that we're cleaning up. Okay. Just some minor touches to make sure that the face is clear enough. Okay. So basically that's it. The image is clean enough. I just did a few touch on the face, and so the image is perfect and we're good to go. And that brings us to the next step. Now, the next step is very crucial because this is where the design is. The design is actually building up, but this is where we bring in beauty to the design. Okay, this is where we actually bring in. It's about what you want to tell the people, and we're using text alignment to do that. Basic typography and using proper text, to portray the message that the album is conveying. Okay, so let's say the title of this album is BOG, Based on Grace. All right, so we're going to create a text that says BOG, Based on Grace. Okay, so first off, we're just going to stick to a few fonts, 1 or 2 fonts. Okay, the reason why we're sticking to 1 or 2 fonts is because we want to make sure that there's uniformity, and then the design is appealing. Now, when you use too many fonts, the design doesn't look arranged because there are too many things that are jumping at your face. So we want to stick with 2 or 3 fonts. All right. Now I'm using Imperator. The font we're using for the sake of this training is called the Imperator. So create a new layer. Just come here. Create a new layer. Now, when you're creating the layer, just scroll down to the layers section, and there are some basic icons that are out here. And you click on this one that is very close to the bean icon. Create a new layer by clicking on this. Once you put your cursor there, it just shows you that you see create a new layer there. So I've created a new layer. Now let's come over here and create a text. So that brings us to the tools section. You click on the text icon. All right, so I've done that, and then it's highlighted. We want to create our text. Now I'm typing BOG. All right. Okay, so I have BOG here. Now, I said we're using the Imperator, okay? We want to make sure that, when it comes to design and you're communicating something, it means that something has to be emphasized, okay? In this case, we're emphasizing the word BOG. So that means that we make sure that our text is bold enough for people to see, it's legible enough for people to read. Something that's glaring, it jumps at you. It's the first thing you notice on the design, apart from the image of the artist. So I'm going to increase the size. Make this, let's say 200. Okay. So you can see that the design is taking shape. The design is taking shape. I like it. So this is what I have. I've created my first text, BOG. All right. Now I'm going to make sure that I want to use a color that pops. If you notice, the artist is wearing a brown suit, and then the background has some, a little yellow, and it's a little yellow and brown background. There's a sunset behind the artist. So I'm just going to make sure that my text is standing out so that it's something you can see. All right. So let's come to the color layer where we select our color. I'm just making sure that I have something that is bright enough. Let's try something else. Now, you see, when it comes to design, you just have to be creative. I'm trying to pick a color from the sun. You see, trying to pick a color from the sun. Now, what that does is that by the time this design is, complete, there is some kind of, uniformity. There is a blend of color because I'm picking my color from the sun. So it's more like the text and the color of the sun. There's a blend between the text and the background. And then the text still stands out. All right, so I'm just going to pick the lighter part of this. All right, I believe this is like light gold, if I should put it that way. So we have BOG. All right. Now, BOG is like the heading. We're going to now create a smaller caption that says based on grace. Let's say based on grace is the title of the artist album. All right. So I'm going to create a smaller text now. So what I'll do is I'll use this same text, just so you don't go back and forth. I'll use this same text. I'll just duplicate it. Okay. So to duplicate, I believe that is Control J. All right. If you're using a Mac, that will be Command J. So now I've duplicated my text, and all I need to now do is reduce the font size. So let's come to the character layer here. It's on 400. The bigger text is 400, so I'm just going to put this on 100. Very good. So you can see that the smaller text is reduced. All right. Okay, so now that I have a smaller text, I'm going to highlight it and create, the word based on grace. Using all caps. Okay. I believe that this text is still too big, so I'll reduce it. I'll make it, let's make it 50. Now you see that the text is small, all right? But the fact that it's small doesn't mean we just leave it there or expand it, because we want the text to align, all right? From this design, you can see that the text is by the left-hand side of our document, okay? So in order for this smaller text based on grace to align with the bigger one, BOG, I'm going to increase, the distance between the how do I put it? The distance between the alphabets. All right. So let's come to the character layer. You see, there's this sign here that says VA. I think that's kerning. So I'll just put this on. I'll put this on 200. Good. You can see that my text is beginning to have space. The alphabets are having space in between themselves. Okay. I'll make this, let's make this 400. 400. Okay, it's coming out well. It's coming out well. Let's go back to our main design. Okay, well, from here you can see how the main design looks. So let's come back to our design. The reason why I went back to the main design is so that we can have, a clear direction as to where we're headed. All right, so we don't deviate from the original design. All right, so it means that we need to expand this a little bit. Okay, so let me make this 600. Control Shift. Just hold your control down and shift right, so that the text can align. You know what? I want to reduce the bigger text, so I'll just come here and make it 350. All right. So after making it 350 now, just drag towards the left. Just drag towards the left, okay? You can hold Control and shift it a little bit forward. Okay. Now, when it comes to graphics, you must have patience. Okay, you must have patience. Yes, you must have patience because it takes time to be creative. All right, we're trying to have a creative design here, so you must have patience in making sure that your text comes out well, is well aligned, and the colors, blend with the background, and at the same time, the text stands out so that people can see what you're trying to tell us. All right. So now we have our two captions, BOG, based on grace. All right. it's now time for us to create the name of the artist using another font. So we're going to use just one cursive font, and then we'll still stick with the Imperator. So like I said before, from the beginning of the training, I said we're sticking to just two fonts or three fonts, just to make sure that our design has uniformity and appeal. Okay, so we have BOG based on grace. I want to do something. I'll just quickly have a little correction on the color of the text now. Okay. All right, and I'll just apply the same thing for the smaller text. Awesome. So one last thing I'll just create real quick. I'll just call this, let's say this is an EP. Okay, so we'll just create the word EP. All right. And usually I'll just tell you to go to the tools layer and click on the text tool. But as you progress as a designer, you learn how to work faster. Okay, and one of the ways that I work is that instead of just going to click on the text tool, I just duplicate a particular text and I write on it. So for the sake of this design, I'll just duplicate this text that I already created and write another word. All right, so just follow me. So I'm duplicating the smaller text now based on grace. That's Control J. Let's see, it's duplicated, and then you just Control T it, and with Control and you shift it down. Shift down, hold Control and shift down. Okay, I think that's not working. Control T, move it down, just drag it down. All right, here we go. So now we'll get back to our text tool. Click on it. It's just by the left-hand side of the system, and then you highlight this text and just type in all caps EP. All right. So now I'm going to close the gaps between the alphabet because it's not needed, in this particular scenario. So now let's come to our Canon where we had 600 for the other text, and we just take this to 0. All right. And then we just increase the size to maybe 200. Okay. So this is what we have. I think 200 is too big, so I'll make this 150, maybe 120. Don't forget that the idea is to emphasize certain text, because that's what you want to get. That's what you want the audience to see. When they look at the designs, the first thing you want them to notice about the design, apart from the image. When it comes to the text, some text has to be highlighted or emphasized for the sake of passing across your message easily. That's why we highlighted BOG, because that's like the title of the album. Now the EP is what this in music terms, an EP means extended playlist. Okay, so it's really not very important. That's why it's not as big as BOG, because EP is not the title of the album, BOG is the title of the album. That's why we emphasized it. I hope you understand that. So here we are. We have a BOG based on grace EP. Okay, we're almost done with this design. It's pretty much a simple design, and to create the name of the artist, we'll just pick one cursive font. Now let's come back to let's come back to creating a new layer. All right, instead of duplicating the text, I'll create a new layer, because now we're about to use a new font, cursive font. Cursive font is more of a stylish font, So you come back to your tools section and click on the tool, the typing tool or the text tool, and just click here. So let's type. Let's say the name of the artist is Quiz the Great. All right. So let's see what cursive font we have. Now I want to try something like Let's try a scriptina. Okay. Let's try a scriptina. Scriptina regular. All right, so now we have scriptina. All right, I just increase the size to 150. Increase the size to 150. I'm really not feeling scriptina right now. All right, so I'll just try another font. I'll use Master of Break. Okay, it seemed to me like this system doesn't have Master of Break, so we'll just stick with Scriptina, all right? But I think the font size is still too small, so I'll just increase my fonts to 220. Okay, so this is what we have. We have quiz now, so we'll now type the grade, okay? Basically, I think at this point we could just use an already created text and duplicate it, okay? So let's duplicate the text EP. Let's duplicate that word EP. Control J, Control T to hold it down and drag to this very end here. I'll highlight the word EP. So just highlight your text and type the. Now this imperator is a bold one, so we'll take it to regular. Just come to the character layer. You can see where you could change a lot of things from here. So I just changed this text to regular instead of bold, and then I'll reduce the size. It's on 120, I'll make it like 90. So now it's on 90. Okay, so there we go. Now that same text that I just created, I'll duplicate it again and make another text, another word from it. You know, come to your text layer or your text tool, click on it, right click on it, and then highlight this word THA. Just make this great, GREAT. Now this word will make it bold, you know, just to give it style. You see, it's a little bolder than this one, you know. And then we'll increase the font size to 110. The idea is to make some text bigger than others, just to create, you know, just for the sake of emphasis or highlight, okay? So on your keyboard, you have the left, right, up and down keys. That's if you're using a window. You know, if you don't want to use control, if you don't want it to move too fast, you could just, instead of holding control down, just, if you're moving to the left, just use the left key. That's when your text is highlighted, all right? So here we are. I've created two texts already. The great. Okay, I'm just gonna make sure that they are aligned. All right, this is just perfect. Okay. So now I have the great. Yeah. All right. So I just need to increase the size of this font again and make this like 260, maybe 350. Okay, we're almost there. We're almost there. Trust me, we're almost there. Something is jumping at me. Make this 400. All right, so we have the name of the artist, Quiz the Great. We've already created the text. Let's just balance this. Let's just make sure that this thing is balanced. All right. Just make sure that this is balanced. Okay, so we're getting there. And as a matter of fact, we're almost done. All right, it's a simple album artwork, and we're just creating the name. Just what we did here is we just brought the image of the artist. We just wrote the name of the artist in a stylish way, and then of course we created the title of the album. That's what we did. All right, we're almost done. Just one more text, and we'll wrap up this design. So now let's create a new layer and create another text. So come to your create a new layer icon. Let's just down here, click on it, and then you come to your tools layer and click on the text tool, and we type I'll write, so I'll just write Cflix images. All right. So here we go. I just wrote Cflix images. So let's assume that Cflix image is the company, that has, is a company that, signs the artist. Let's say Cflix Images is the record label or the company that signed the artist. That's why we're bringing the word Cflix Image here, for copyright reasons and all that. So we'll just write Cflix Images. All right. I'll make this, instead of leaving it as bold, I'll make it regular. So come to your character section, change it to regular, and then reduce the font size. So let's make this one 80. Okay. So it's small enough, but it's legible. It's something you can see, even though it's small. It's legible. All right. Okay. This is really nice. All right. We are almost done. I want to delete this text. Okay, it's deleted. So I have this 3 text. So just move this. Now, I've put these 3 texts together. I've highlighted these 3 texts. I want to reduce it a little bit. So what you do is, if you want to reduce the size of a group of text, at the same time, just come to the text layer. You click on one of the texts and hold down Control, and then you just highlight each of the text. When you click on each of them, it highlights the 3, and then you now Control T it, and then hold down Alt, and then scale down. So now you see we're reducing the size of this text. That's the name of the artist. We've done that. Now, if you look at this design properly, you see that we have 2 sections for the text. By the right side of the design, we have the name of the artist, and then the name of the company, which is Cflix Images. And then by the left side of the design, we have the title of the album. So it's about alignment. It's called basic typography. Just imagine that I just threw the name of the artist by the left side, and then the text, the big text, by the left side but on top, and then I just threw the image in the middle on the hand of the artist. It will look, it won't look fine. It won't look appealing. So it's all about arrangement. It's all about alignment, okay, when it comes to doing designs, Now, I did say that this is a basic, simple album artwork, So here we are. the name of the artist and the name of the company is, by the right hand side of the design, and then the title of the album is by the left side of the design, just so we'll have uniformity. Okay. And voila, we're done with this design. Okay. Now we just created a simple album artwork. All right. Let me just run you through it. The first thing we did, we created our document. Okay. That's with Control N, because we're using a Windows system to create our document, and our dimension is 800 by 800. Okay, and we left it at RGB because it's for online purpose. It's not, if it's for print, we would have used the CMYK. Okay, and then after that, we went to import the image of the artist, by going to File and clicking on Place Embedded. So, and then we did a little retouch on the face of the artist by using the brush tool. We used the spot healing brush tool to just, clean off dark spots from the face of the artist. And then after that, it was time for us to, align our text, and then we started by creating a bigger text for the sake of emphasis, and then a smaller text, which is the full title of the album. So now here we are, Quiz the Great BOG Based on Grace EP. And we have our artwork created already. I must tell you something. This is a very beautiful initiative by Cflix Images, and of course, you know that this is Design and Grow Rich. Okay, and I hope you enjoyed my training. In case you have any question, in case you have inquiries, you can actually visit our website at www.cfliximages.com. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Cflix Images, and just so you have, just to keep yourself, abreast with updates, on new designs, trainings, and everything that is required for you to become, a professional graphic artist. And if you're already a graphic artist, that just shows you that there are more opportunities for you to explore on our platform. Okay, and finally, in case you have not signed up, it's very important that you sign up. Okay, all you need to do is just visit the website www.cfliximages.com and sign up to become a graphics designer, or a creative content producer on Cflix Images. And what that means is that you start making money because you start selling your creative works, you start selling your graphics. Don't forget, this is Design and Grow Rich, brought to you by Cflix Images. My name is Shedrack. Thank you, and I'll see you again.